tacos, Taco Tuesday tonight.
Oh,
Yeah. But, hello, I'm James, and this is my grandma, Gloria Gallo.
I'm Gloria.
And, yes, don't call her grandma. What was that story? Who was calling you grandma and you weren't a fan of it?
Oh, when we owned Four Seasons.
Yeah.
I was standing in the by the front door,
Yeah.
and this woman comes in, and she's at the front door, and she sees me by the cash register, so she yells out, "Hi, Grandma!" And I said, "Grandma, to who?" I said, "I'm grandma to my grandchildren. I'm not grandma to you." I said, "My name is Gloria."
Yeah. You're our grandma.
So I said, "So you can call me Gloria anytime, but grandma is for my grandchildren."
Exactly. And there's a lot of us too. How many is it now?
10 boys and 3 girls.
And how many great grandkids?
6.
6. And probably more on the way, which is
Maybe.
crazy.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Right.
I mean, we got the younger kids now. There's
Right.
me and 6 boys that are around my age. And then you got the space. And then you got the older ones who are having their families now.
Right.
And those kids are so cute. Duke
Oh,
with his chubby face. Oh my gosh, they're adorable.
he's a beauty, isn't
Yeah.
he?
They got I think they got the Gallo blue eyes though. They got the
Yeah,
nice blue
they
baby
got the blue
blues.
eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
Passing it down. So you have 6 kids, right?
5 children.
5 children. 6. 5.
4 girls and 1 boy.
Yeah, 1 boy. That must have been a lot of girls for
Yeah,
Uncle
well,
Tommy.
he was the king.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a great guy. I don't know if I could be in a house with 5 girls. Like, it's me, Billy, and I mean, we had Yogi, which was also another boy. So it was 3 of us. But now we got Lucy and Maggie, the other 2 dogs, and now it's just my mom's got the control of the house with all these puppies. But I've been I know you taught most of my cousins. Oh yeah, we were just going. But I know you taught most of my cousins like the piano, and I was trying to like I played you a few, like I only know like 2 songs, but I was like playing the other day, and I was just wondering like because I know I think my mom told me that you're a concert pianist.
I used to be.
I
I was trying.
yeah.
I wanted to be.
What happened? What got you into piano?
What got me?
Like interested in playing the piano?
Oh, I started to play when I was 5 years old.
Wow.
My mother, I had two sisters,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe with three daughters. And my mother was, this is going back 60 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they were renting a house that had a piano in it. And nobody wanted the piano. So my mother said, "Well, leave it here." She said, "We love music, so maybe somebody, when they come in, they can play the piano." So my father's sister's daughter, her name was Molly, and she played the piano. So when she came in and found the piano there against the wall, she was very excited. So she said, I can give your daughters lessons. So Grandma said, "Well, all right," she said, "but how much will they be?" So she said 50 cents a lesson.
Buy a nice can of
So there
soda.
were 2 girls, my 2 sisters. They didn't think about me at all. So there were 2 sisters, and that was going to be $1 to give them piano lessons.
That's crazy. $1.
$1, 50
Yeah.
cents a person, the child. So
But she was just the piano. I can't believe they just left it there.
yeah, they left it there. So finally, my mother said, "You know, my 2 daughters don't want to play the piano, she said, Gloria goes, as soon as the teacher leaves, Gloria goes from behind the chair, which I used to hide behind the chair, and wait for the piano teacher to come in.
Yeah.
So she would come in and she'd give the two girls the lessons, but they weren't good. So she'd say to them, "Well, do it again for next week."
Yeah.
So then she'd get up and leave, take her dollar, and she'd go. And my mother would say, "Well, okay. Why should I give $1 to Molly to teach the two girls when they don't want to play? It's Gloria that wants to play.
Yeah.
She's the one that gives the lesson for next week." So they decided against giving the girls the 50 cents apiece,
Yeah.
and they gave it to me for 50 cents. I was teaching that they were teaching me piano.
That's awesome. So I guess you were saying music was always in your family?
Yeah, oh yes, music was my father's family and my mother's family too.
Mm.
They played guitar, mandolin. My father's baby brother, because they were seven men,
Mm-hmm.
they called them 7 boys and 3 girls. So that was a big family.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, and they all played an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
My father's baby brother, his name was Leonard, and he played the flute,
They could have made a band.
and he conducted the Juilliard School of Music.
Wow.
He conducted the quintet, and he was the teacher, the conductor
Yeah.
for the 5 instrument.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
So was
it was called Juilliard School of Music. Was called Demrosh,
Demrash
the Demrosh
Mhm.
School of Music
back in the day?
back in the day.
God.
And
So were your parents from Italy, or when did everyone come over here
the family came over here.
together?
No, they split up, and they came, one with the grandfather
Mm-hmm.
and one with the grandmother,
Yeah.
and they brought the few children with them,
Yeah, now we're here.
and that's how they became American citizens.
That's crazy. They just hopped, did they, I mean, there wasn't any planes or anything that they're getting on.
No, they came by boat.
Yeah,
They were on the water for 32 days.
that is crazy. I bet it was
Yeah.
stuffed and disgusting and
Yeah.
rocky.
And then half of them went back
Really?
because they wouldn't allow them off the boat.
Are you serious?
They were bringing diseases,
Oh,
so they sent them back to Italy.
yeah. So,
And that's how they then after they had their 30 days of quarantine.
hmm
30 days
yeah.
of quarantine.
They're quarantining back then, too.
Then they would bring them back to the States, and then they cleared them, and they were able to get off the boat and come to America.
That's crazy that it's few generations ago from me. We're sailing across the ocean for a month
Yeah,
to get
32
here.
days.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So what part of Italy do you know where they came from?
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
know where they came from. They came from the bottom of the boot.
Yeah, the bottom of the boot.
The bottom of the boot.
Yeah.
And that was called Calabria.
hmm
Do you know about Calabria?
Yeah, I've heard my mom talk about it, but I don't think when we went to Italy we didn't.
No, we didn't.
We didn't go there.
No, I expected to go back,
Yeah,
and I was going to make it the bottom of the boot trip,
yeah.
and going up towards Naples
hmm
and different areas.
Yeah, making the way through
Yeah, right.
through the
Before
heel.
you got to Rome.
Yeah, that would be an awesome trip. Maybe one day I'd love to
Yeah.
love to see where we came from, see
Yes.
our
Yes.
history. But I love how, I guess, in Italy, were they just all musical people? Like, how did they get so?
Well, they loved music,
Hmm.
and they in Calabria they really did love music, and they enjoyed playing.
Yeah, it just soothes the
They used to
soul.
sit down for dinner, Sunday dinners,
Hmm.
and for the start 2 o'clock family dinner on Sunday.
2 o'clock
2 o'clock
in the afternoon.
afternoon.
What?
And before you know it, it was 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And they would get the guitar and mandolin, and they'd start playing, and somebody would play the piano.
That must
So
have been beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
My mother told a story
Hmm.
that she was engaged to, not engaged, but the families were putting the young people together,
Yeah.
and they were spreading the wealth, so you would say,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
the genes that they loved to play music,
Yeah.
and they would get together, and then play the flute. They would get together,
Hmm.
and the mandolin and the guitar was always. My father
Yeah.
played the mandolin and the guitar.
Is the mandolin the little one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He must have rocking that thing.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And they enjoyed that.
So when you started taking lessons, how long, like, did you know instantly, like, this is my instrument, like, this is what I want to play?
Yeah, I liked the piano.
Yeah.
I liked the piano.
What turned you on to it? Like, what aspects of the piano, like,
Well,
spoke to
my
you?
2 sisters were sitting in the chairs
Hmm.
playing for the teacher,
Yeah.
but they were no good. They weren't good at all.
They're trash. You got to show them what's what.
Yeah. So my mother said she was smart enough to realize that's not. I don't want to give my money away
Yeah, to
for
them.
these two
Yeah,
girls.
focus on you.
Yeah, focus on the one who really likes the
Yeah.
piano.
So how old were you around then?
5.
5. That's crazy how you just fell in love. Like, so you were playing, I'm assuming you played every day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I've heard you play and it's beautiful. Like, it
No,
is.
I used to play beautiful.
Yeah.
I played beautifully. The last time I played a concert
Mhm.
was at Seton Hall University.
Mhm.
I was 50 years old, and I played Malagueña. I played 2 other Spanish pieces. I played The Flight of the Bumblebee, and there was an encore.
Of course there is an encore. Why would they not want to hear you
And I
play again?
played an encore. But it was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was the last time I played.
What? I've never really heard about this concert side of you, Grandma.
Yeah, I played.
How did, like, what got you into playing on stage like that?
Well, I used to play in school.
Uh-huh.
They had the Friday afternoons
Mhm.
music course. So I used to play,
And you were good.
and it was good.
And then
I
just kept
liked
going.
it.
That's nice. How do you feel like on stage when you're performing like that? Because I feel like having
I used to eat it up.
yeah.
I loved it.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I get a little bit of that when I talk from you. Then because that makes sense. I love when I go up on stage and
Oh yeah.
talk, give a speech,
Oh,
do
yeah.
whatever.
Oh, I loved it.
Oh, I get the feeling. It's a
Yeah.
good one.
It's a good one.
So you like the eyes on everyone listening, that little pressure. It's nice. It's a good
Well,
feeling.
if you know what you're doing,
Yeah, you don't want to get up
if you
there.
know what you're doing, it's great.
Yeah, because I bet it's easily to mess up or get nervous and get in your own head, and just I feel like the fingers, like when I was trying to like practice and play, I always struggled so much having my right hand do one thing and my left hand do another. Like I don't. How did your mind tell one hand? Was it just dancing on the keyboard, or?
I think it's, well, it's practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's practice.
Yeah. Everything takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, a lot of practice.
But a lot of people these days are getting really frustrated when they want something and then they don't get it instantly. There's no instant gratification of it. And I think people only see like the product. Like, I bet all those people seeing you perform, they only saw you perform on the stage. They never saw how many hours it actually took going into it.
Well, I could tell a story
Mm-hmm.
that when my mother never worked.
Mm-hmm.
She was a homebody with her family. But there was a time when I was practicing to go to Juilliard.
Mm.
And the Manor School of Music. So I had to do the interview.
Yeah.
And I needed, their interview wasn't speaking.
Yeah.
He was playing the piano.
That's a pretty cool interview.
And that was the interview, but
Yeah.
The interview was an hour and a half long.
Jesus.
And I had to play when the professor told me what to play.
He would give you like a song to play?
I went there with a portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the concertos, and I had sonatas.
Yeah.
So I was prepared. So the teacher would say, "All right, Gloria, I want to play Beethoven's Sonata Pathétique, and I want the third movement, the second movement, the adagio part." Well, I had to think fast.
Where's that Beethoven adagio part?
Yeah. So I had to get in my head
Mm-hmm.
the sonata by Beethoven and the adagio part. And I started to play, and he would sit there and listen.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, tell me if that's not intimidating.
Very intimidating. I would have froze up. That's terrifying.
Well, I did okay.
Yeah, I did. So did you, what ended up happening with the Juilliard school? How did the interview go?
Yeah, I had the interview,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went to Juilliard, and I
Oh, you
didn't
got
like it. I didn't like
You got it?
where it was.
Yeah.
It was in the Bronx,
Mm.
and it wasn't
Not what it is today.
no.
Yeah.
So I said no, I didn't want to go there. So I ended up at Manor School of Music.
Mm.
And that was on 79th Street and Lexington Avenue.
Yeah.
So I went there.
How was that?
That was a different type of school.
What do you
It
mean?
was classy.
Was it?
Yeah.
Classier than Juilliard's. I feel like Juilliard's pretty
Well,
classy.
Juilliard was the name,
Yeah.
and they played the game well.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. But the location,
Yeah.
I was afraid of the location.
Yeah. I love how you were just like, said, no, I don't like this. I'm going to go somewhere else, follow my passion, and follow your dream.
So I went to the School of Music,
Mm-hmm.
and that was different because it was Madison Avenue,
Yeah.
Lexington Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. So, how long were you at that school for?
Oh, I got engaged, and my professor didn't like the idea that I was engaged.
Silly.
He said, "You have a promise, and you're giving it up to get married." So I said, well, I didn't know what to answer the guy.
Yeah.
So he said, so we're going to leave it as it is. He said, you can play the piano for yourself and for if anybody wants to hear you.
That's so messed up.
But you can't. He didn't want to give his all to somebody who he thought was going to get married, have children, and forget about the music.
That's what you would never forget about the music, though. That's what you love. Like, you can love more than one thing,
I know.
you know? That's so silly. And I think that just shows, like, it's a different time.
Yes.
And it's been, you're 92 now?
Yeah.
That, like, 90, so I guess that was 70 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So much has changed. Just me hearing that is ridiculous. That guy would have got fired instantly if that was today. That's terrible that he said that, but, geez. But, so how'd you get into concert, like, without, if you just separated from the school, like, you just kept playing and people noticed how good you were and they're like, come play?
Well, no, the teachers,
Mm-hmm.
they would give concerts,
Okay.
and they would play in concerts,
Mm-hmm.
and they would recommend you
Yeah.
to play.
That's really nice that even these teachers saw what talent you had and still kept having you come play,
Yeah.
which is really nice. Did I know, like, you're talking about how you could play Beethoven and I'm assuming you could play all the other ones. What does it take for, like, a musician to come up with his own work like that, like Beethoven or Mozart, like composing these symphonies? Like, that seems way beyond my grasp of that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
how,
Mine too.
yeah. Do you think they were just crazy, or like what was, I don't even know what they were, like, how you get in that mindset of hearing all those things and then just putting it out.
Well, you know, Beethoven was deaf.
How did he do that?
He made all those concerts, concertos,
Mm-hmm.
and sonatas.
Yeah.
He used to get the feet, feeling with his feet.
I felt the vibrations.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. How music is, it's 12 notes, right? 12 baseline notes that make up all the other ones. Like, you have the C to, like on the piano, what are the keys? There's like the 12 keys, and then they just like repeat
Yeah.
in louder
Yeah.
tones and softer tones. So I guess he could feel like how, like, the frequencies and the vibration. That is like a different gift. People, like, I always say this, our bodies are so powerful and our minds are so strong. Like, if we really set our mind to something that we love, I think you could really do anything. Like, he loved the piano so much he could play it without hearing it,
Right.
which is just magical. Did you ever, like, play around with your own tunes or something? Or were you just sticking to other people's
No, I
songs?
used to fool around.
Yeah. Play around, like put on a nice Frank Sinatra CD or something.
Well, I started to say that my mother never worked,
Mm-hmm.
but when I was getting ready to go to for these interviews,
Mm-hmm.
I used to practice for 6 and 7 hours at a time,
Any breaks in between those? A little pee break?
and I'd go to the bathroom break,
Yeah.
have a lunch. But she couldn't take it anymore, so she got herself a job. And she
Jeez.
used to go out in the morning, and I used to go play at the piano
Mm-hmm.
for 7, 8 hours, and she went to work.
Yeah. That is crazy. So what did she get a job doing? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But I feel like if I was your mom, I'd sit next to you and listen to that piano for 7 to 6 hours. That would sound like a free concert right there. That's awesome.
But that's what it was all about.
Yeah. So who would you think, like, your favorite artist, composer, like, singer?
Today,
Anytime. Yeah. Right now.
there isn't anybody.
No one today.
There isn't anybody today.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
They have all this rap music.
Mm-hmm.
That's not music.
Yeah, it's just different style.
It's a rap.
Yeah. There's some rappers, because I know there's some, like, mumble rappers where they just talk about, like, drugs and killing people. I'm not really into that rap either, but there's these artists. Have you ever heard Kanye?
Yeah.
Or he uses his, like, religion. He's Christian, and he raps about God. And his art is truly, like, the words and the meaning and the sounds. He uses, like, choirs, like Catholic church choir. I don't know if they're not Catholic, but church choirs as his background. I think you'd like that kind of stuff. But who back who would you like? What's your sound that you like to listen to? Like, I know you like Frank Sinatra.
Well, that's today's,
Yeah.
not today,
Mhm.
but about the 40s and the 50s,
Yeah.
the 60s. They were different type music. It was dancing to the
Yeah.
music. You know,
Yeah.
it was completely different.
Mhm. Involved.
Today, everything is the exercise.
Yeah.
They're dancing, but it's not.
It's not the same.
It's definitely not.
It's different. Definitely a lot different.
And then there's the opera.
Mhm.
I mean, the opera. They had to close down the opera this year because of the
That virus. You know, I've been hearing about that.
and it was a shame.
Yeah, that is sad. So, do you think they're gonna?
110 years they've been playing,
Mhm.
and they had to close it.
Are they closed for good, or are they gonna open back up?
Well, we're hoping that maybe with complete.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just sad.
it is.
Like, all these businesses, all these operas, movie theaters, Broadway, all these performing arts that rely on people to come and watch. Because, like, music and art and any form of art, you need people to appreciate it.
Right.
Like, you can't just put it out and expect to make some money off it.
Right.
You need people to enjoy it, be a part of it. And seeing these places shut down, it's kind of heartbreaking. Like, where else are we supposed to see this art?
Well, I went with Uncle Chip and Aunt Lisa
Mm-hmm.
about 3-4 years ago. Yeah, because I've been like this
Yeah.
the past few years. So it was before I got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And Uncle Chip brought us, Lisa and me, to Little Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another place, not Little Italy, but where they it's not a restaurant.
Yeah. That, like, area?
The
Yeah.
area would be I can't think of what it. Well,
Yeah, probably not important.
it was wonderful,
Yeah.
and they would come out and they'd play. They'd play, and everybody would clap. And
Yeah.
then they'd have another song.
Mm-hmm.
It was wonderful, but I understand. Uncle Chip told me the other day that it's closed down.
Yeah. No one can go.
It's closed down.
All this stuff, all this COVID is terrible. It's been almost a year.
Yeah,
They told us it was going to be a few weeks.
yeah,
Grandma, when they said the first week, they're like, okay, everyone stay inside for 2 weeks. That's all you need. We just got to figure out how to run the hospitals, how to control it so it doesn't wipe out everyone.
yeah.
And then it turned into, we have all the power. Well, this is what it seems like. It seems like they didn't figure out how to do the hospital. They didn't figure out how to control it properly. It's been 8 months, and it's the same thing that it was when it started. I know the same stuff I knew back then. Nothing's changed. They're not telling us anything. It seems like they're, like, keeping secrets from us so they can, I don't know, just keep telling us what to do. Like, kind of seems like a little bit of a power trip. Like, I know in California, like, that governor's not really making the best calls for everyone. He's, like, shutting down restaurants at 10 o'clock. Everything is going down the drain. And I know you lived through the first Great Depression, right? And
Oh, yeah.
the Roaring '20s. So I'm just wondering what, like, how was it back then? Like, in the '20s. So what year were you born in, if you don't mind me asking? 28. So what so you started, like, you grew up in the Depression.
Yeah, because it started in January of 27.
So how was that just living during that time?
I was just born,
Yeah.
so I don't remember.
Yeah, it seemed just sad and broken, but it kind of feels like the direction we're going in right now. All these places are out of business. The middle class is turning to nothingness. It's literally the smallest the middle class has ever been in a very long time. Like, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And these people that work their entire lives, like restaurant owners, like a nice Italian restaurant, they wake up 5 a.m, make their sauce, hang out with the people, enjoy, like, it's usually the same people, like for Four Seasons, it's the same people coming in all the time. And then when you tell them no, like, how is Four Seasons or any other restaurant supposed to survive during that? And I think we're going to see they're not. And once these stimulus checks or people start getting back into the normal world, we're not gonna be able to just hop back. But I hope, with all this struggle and pain and suffering, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, we got to keep hoping, got to keep driving on, keep trucking.
Right.
So as long as, I think it's a huge mental thing. Like, when I broke my face the other week, and I was pretty at first, because I was getting all my shit together. Excuse my French. I was getting my stuff together. I was working hard. I felt in the groove. I was feeling good. And then I got bumped. My face had 3 fractures, and I was out of commission. And for the first day or two, I was so caught up and upset, because I'm like, why does bad things keep happening to me? Right? I had COVID, I had mono, I had whatever, everything. Just kept seeing every time I got up, it went back down. But then I had a talk with my dad, and he reminded me, because I always remember, like, bad things, like, we could either let them keep us down or we could get back up. Like, I like this simile. I read this Buddhist monk wrote on the internet somewhere, and I read it. He used the metaphor of planting a tree. And when he first planted the tree, a deer came and, like, ate up the little sprout. Then he plants the tree, puts a little fence around it. Do I have something? And then he puts up a little fence around the tree so the deers can't come. But the tree goes a little higher. A windstorm comes, knocks the tree down. Okay, he puts a barrier up, and each time the tree gets knocked down, he learns a little bit more so he can make the tree grow a little bit higher. And I think if we kind of can keep that mindset, like, yeah, the tree is always going to get knocked down. Like, we're always going to fail. Like, that's kind of the point of life. Like, we're going to get knocked down. But as long as we can get back up, that's the point, because it's so easy just to stay on the ground. And, like, I played hockey my entire life. Like, I could get hit in the boards, go on the ice, sprawl out, and just sit there, be comforted by the nice cold ice beneath me. It would be so easy just to lay there. But that's not a part of the game, I would get back up, probably get hit again and fall, or trip on my own skates or something like that. But I would hop back up, and I would keep going. I would learn from that. Maybe next time I wouldn't turn my back when someone's skating at me pretty fast. We keep learning like that. And I think if we can transfer that mindset just to, like, life and living and struggle, like, I think we'd be a lot better off. Like, all this struggle, we can use it to grow. Like, I figured out after my face, I'm like, okay, this happened. I need to accept what's happening to me and try to make the most of it. And that's when beautiful stuff happened. Like, I'm like, okay, this is my time. I have a week, 2 weeks by myself before I get surgery to figure stuff out. And I started looking online for podcast stuff, and now we're here. 4 weeks later, my head's a little shaved up. I got a scar, but we made it. We made it through the injury. We're keep going. But I don't know. I hope people in COVID can take this time to realize what's important to them. Family, love, like what we enjoy doing. Like you loved piano, you kept going on with piano. Like that's what you love to do. And I think if people can find that, and just it's not going to come easy, but if you really want something, you got to keep working and keep going after it.
Right.
But I think that's nice, but it also comes with the inner peace. You know, it's hard when your own mind is just waves of like an ocean just rocking all around. I was talking to a priest the other day, and he was telling me, yeah, well, he was comparing like the mind to the ocean, of how if you don't anchor down, your boat's going to go all around, get capsized, get crushed, whatever. But if you have the anchor of mindfulness and inner peace and like self-love, like you'll always be anchored down, and your boat, the life, the rock, the ocean of life will always rock.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But right, like how beautiful is this? The priest, people got to start talking to priests more, or whatever your faith is.
Right.
But it was so wise, and it really calmed me down. Like we need to anchor ourselves in what truly matters to us, because it's easy to get caught up in the bullshit of life.
Right.
And I think that's really, really nice. And I know you love your family, and we love you. Like and we make time for each other, you know?
Yeah.
Call each other on Sundays, talk about politics or whatever. And it's just nice. It's nice. It feels good to do what you love. And I don't know, it feels nowadays people are more concerned about money and power and greed and whatever than actual what matters. You know, connections with people, like your passions, working together, peace on
That's
earth.
true.
But I don't know. I think what do you think about I know I mentioned politics a little bit. I don't know if we want to dive into that, but just the divide like you're seeing from, like, you've been here way longer than me and most people that are still here. Like, do you see anything that we're doing that happened in the past that is not the right way? That's kind of a vague question, but do you see something that my generation or the generation above me is like focused on that is troubling, or any warnings for us youngings?
I don't know. I worry about that.
Yeah.
I worry about that for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got grandchildren.
Great
And
grandchildren.
they'll all be trying to make a world
Mm-hmm.
good for them
Yeah.
and for their children. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It's not.
Definitely not easy.
But I like to think of it as a track race, and we're passing the baton from generation to generation, trying to learn where our flaws were, like what didn't work, what did work, and like, okay, let's pass it on to the next people, because like obviously I'm not going to see world peace in my lifetime, and there's going to be a lot more problems that happen. And with new stuff that's invented, new technologies, there's obviously going to be more problems. But it's just something we got to keep dealing with and working against, you know? There's always going to be that hate and evil in the world, but we just got to keep countering it with love and respect, you know?
Yeah.
But
I remember the first what I would consider with 1934. I think that's what the year was, when Roosevelt was president.
mm-hmm.
And he's the one that stopped the war. He brought it to a conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Teddy.
But it was hard.
I bet.
I was just a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember my father working 3 jobs.
Jeez.
3 jobs,
That's a lot.
right?
Mm-hmm. So he was surviving.
Right. And then the war ended, and we got the president was he was the general, 5-star general,
Mm-hmm.
Eisenhower.
The bomb guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I would love to have him as my grandfather.
Yeah.
He was a peaceful man.
Mm-hmm. But so when you're after the war ended, could you feel a difference, like in life, like in the people around you, and because that must have been a very stressful time for everyone, having what was going on. Did you? So I know there wasn't the internet back then, but I'm assuming you guys still knew about Hitler and the goings-ons of what was
yes,
happening.
Yes. We used to listen to the radio.
Okay.
And that's how we got our news.
Yeah.
And on Saturday afternoons at 12 o'clock, there was a movie theater,
Yeah.
a few of the movie theaters in the areas. And they would have, they'd have the roll
Oh, the footage.
of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And my father used to take me to the theater
Yeah.
on Saturday afternoons. And it would be on for a half hour.
Jeez.
And that's how we got all the news.
Yeah, so how did that make you feel as like a young kid seeing this tragedy and war and destruction? Because I feel like that would be pretty scary
It
as
was
a kid.
intense.
Yeah.
It was intense.
No, I bet. That just seems like a lot for a kid to take in at that age, because I feel like when you're young, like the world is supposed to be open and free, and you're not supposed to care about these massive topics like that.
Yeah.
But that must have taken a strain on you and your family, with your dad working 3 jobs and then eventually your mom working another one. How was that? How did you feel, like you and your siblings, like going through that?
I can't recall really.
Yeah.
I was young myself.
Mm-hmm. But did you see a shift afterwards, though? Like, did people start to pep up after?
Oh, yeah.
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 So that was late 40s,
Yes.
early 50s?
Yes.
So you're around 20s then? Or teens?
Yeah, my 20s.
Okay. So what were you doing around then, that time? Like for your life, you were going to school for piano at that point. Jeez. I mean, there's wars going on now, obviously, but it seems like they don't tell us about them as much, because it feels like the wars are kind of over things just people wouldn't really want to fight for, like oil and control and power. It doesn't really feel like we're fighting for democracy and peace anymore.
No, they're fighting for what they want.
Yeah.
They want to rule the world.
They want to rule the world.
They want to rule the world. China and Russia.
Yeah.
Together they want to rule the world.
Yeah. Which is scary.
Oh, my God.
It's very scary. And for me, someone was telling me the other day that Russia... have you heard anything about the Russia hack on the news? I didn't hear a lot about it, but someone was telling me that Russia just has been hacking the U.S. for years, and we didn't know. And that's kind of concerning. I don't know where we're going, but I hope it doesn't result in another war, because I feel like we can resolve that stuff with conversations, and I don't get that. I don't get why people just feel the need to have power like that. Like, why? I don't I don't get why people can't just be like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, right,
like we're all the same thing. We're all people. We're all humans. Doesn't matter what color your skin is, what religion you are. We're all people.
right.
Where you're from. I think that's so silly. They're on a different part of land,
It's sad.
and we're fighting. It's tribal. Like looking back when we were, I mean, back in tribes, like you only saw the people you lived with, and like a few others like in your community. Like this is way back when we were like still hunter gatherers, and it made sense. Like you didn't see, if you saw another tribe, you'd probably be scared and want to fight them. But now we're connected by the internet. We have planes. We could go anywhere, and we're still fighting. Like
Yeah.
it makes no sense. I hope. I don't get how we haven't learned that violence doesn't really solve anything, but just creates more pain for everyone except for the people who are playing the chess and telling where the soldiers should go and stuff. Like I know my grandpa, my pop on my dad's side fought in the Korean War, but like he was just a guy from Indiana. He didn't think he was going to war, and they just shipped him off. See ya. Like it really seems like the people in power, they're not getting their feet dirty. They're standing on the sidelines telling everyone else, like controlling their lives.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of sad and a little corrupt, it feels like. And I mean, you watch the news more than anyone I know, and you know a lot about all you see it. And it bothers me really that how the media is portraying. Now, I'm not saying all media, but I think you could see it too, like the media is biased.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like it doesn't.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah, because you watch the different channels, you see the different stories, and you know the facts. But for someone who doesn't know the facts and they see one side of the story, like they're going to be set on that side, right? Like they're going to hear that and be like, this is the truth, when in reality there's another side of the story that they didn't hear.
Yeah.
And you can't, how are you supposed to know the facts, like the true truth, when you hear a biased source? And I really hope in the future news sources become unbiased and become the fourth estate again,
Yeah.
watching over the government and informing the public of their doings, because the government's supposed to serve the people, not the other way around. And it feels like we're just paying them money so they can play their diddling games or whatever they're doing,
Right.
because it's a game.
Well, there's like the election in November.
Yeah.
I mean, right after the election, and the party outside on the green grass, the lawn, you see all these journalists with their cameras.
Yeah,
They got a big job,
they do. It's important.
but they're not taking it
No, not seriously.
seriously.
Yeah,
They make up their own stories
for more views.
for news.
Yeah, for news.
So then you get 6 o'clock news. If you put a 6 o'clock news, ABC, they say one thing. NBC, they say another thing. CBS, they say another thing.
Mm-hmm.
You put these together, and you form your own conclusion.
Exactly. Get all the sides of the stories.
Right.
And I mean, it shouldn't be like that though. Like we don't have time to look at every single source. Most people have a job, have kids, have a life, and they look on the news and they say, "Oh, this is what it is," because that's how it should be.
Right.
But it's sad. And I go to school. Syracuse. I was studying broadcast journalism my first year, and I saw. Do you want me to fill you some more water?
I got it.
All right. I saw how, like, we were being taught, like, if it bleeds, it leads. If there's controversy, if there's something that gets people riled up, more people are going to watch it, and more people are going to listen to it, and it's just going to make more money, and get them more views and make their business more, give them more power. And that's kind of what it seems. It just seems like a money grab that these people are going after. But I hope people start to see that. And once people see that, because people are being a little bamboozled, you know? They don't know that they're being blindfolded and turned around, or whatever the saying is. I don't know what it is. But if people start to realize that, hey, we're not being fed accurate information, maybe they'll start to change. Because if people don't watch this fake news or bad news or untruthful news or biased news, I'll call it. Fake news has such a bad connotation nowadays. But this bad news, maybe it could change, you know? If people start to realize, like, hey, this isn't right, maybe then the money will shift somewhere else. Because it kind of seems like where there's money, people are going to try to get it, which doesn't really seem that makes too many people happy, though. You know? What do you think?
Well, I personally think that there's too many people doing a job that could be less people doing the job.
Yeah.
For instance, the House of Representatives,
Mm-hmm.
Congress,
Yeah.
the senators. They're all these guys. They're all guys
Yeah.
that are sitting down. They have a chair,
Mm-hmm.
and they sit in this chair.
Nice big chair.
And they're not producing anything.
They're not helping us.
No.
Has it always been like that?
I don't know if it's always been like that.
Feels like it definitely probably was. Because it feels like they do things to show they're doing things, like we were talking about earlier. You got to put the work in to get actual stuff done. But it feels like they're just putting stuff out, just put stuff out. Like they'll put it out new acts. You know, like, oh, we put an act forward. But what the hell did that act change? Probably not too much.
No.
No.
I don't know.
It's the swamp. Swamp.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
They call it the swamp for a reason, though. It's a bunch of, but like when you get, even if there's this perfect person that is so virtuous, perfect for the job, would be a great politician, but it's just a bunch of lawyers in there. And you get in, you put this virtuous person in there, they're going to get eaten alive. They're not going to make it very far because they're not playing the game. So that's why I think people liked Trump at the beginning, because he was outside the system. He came in and people thought, hey, he's not a lawyer. He's not a politician. Maybe he'll actually do something for us. And then the media completely ripped him apart. And I look at that from a perspective, like they don't show us, like I'm not a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter or whatever support. I'm in the middle. I want the best for the people. And to see the media ripping this guy apart and not giving him a fair shot just because he was a Republican. And I think we say this all the time, he would have been a much better president if he could control himself and his mouth and his fingers when he tweets, because he definitely gets himself in some hot waters with that. But if he composed himself and was like a JFK type person and did the same thing, I can guarantee you the media would not have slaughtered him the way they did. No. They did not give him a fair shot.
They slaughtered him from the day he became president.
Until the day he was out.
Right.
I don't think there was one day I didn't see something about that guy or his family ridiculing them.
Right.
And it's sad. Like, imagine it was just anyone else. It was someone in our family. But like we wouldn't do the thing like he said and whatever, but he's another person. He's a human being. It doesn't matter what he says. We still have to treat him with respect.
Right.
And like, hate doesn't fix hate. You know, you can't fix a fire by adding more fire to it, you know, and by like destroying this man. And that just makes people angry. And I think we see it in our own lives, because when on the top level, everything's going to shit, we're going to take that in our own lives and be stressed and be freaked out and always going down each other's throats, when if someone actually sat him down and had a conversation and talked to him, give him a fair shot, I think it would be a lot calmer. And I think we see it in COVID too. Like the government freaked out, the media freaked out, and it freaked out the people. Like we see these people in power who are supposed to be helping us, controlling us, like guiding us in the right direction, freaking out, that's going to make everyone else freak out.
Right.
I don't know. I think the answer is just we got to be nicer to each other.
Well, I think that's probably part
Yeah.
of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We're not happy with each other.
Yeah. And that starts with ourselves. Like, how are you supposed to love someone else if you can't love yourself? Like, I always look at people, and most of the time the way they act is usually the opposite of how they actually feel. You know, like a super peppy, upbeat person always going like, ah, da, 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 smiles on the face is usually the person who's goes at home and cries at night. You know, they're probably very upset with themselves for God knows what. Or the person who bullies people, puts them down. Like, we all have heard it, like they're insecure about themselves, but that's true. Like, they're bringing you down because, I don't know, in some way in their head, they feel like if they take you down, it will bring them up or bring them to the same level. But that obviously isn't working. And what I've been noticing over quarantine a lot is I took the time to look inward, you know, because in this world with social media, it's so easy to get caught up in what people think is happiness, but in reality, happiness comes from within, even though it sounds super cheesy. Like, we have to accept who we are as people, because, like, we're not going to change that, and, like, love ourselves. And everyone has a different way of doing it. People meditate, people look online. It takes time. Like, it's not going to be a flick of the light switch, oh, I love myself now. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of work, and it's going to be really hard. But I feel like once people do start loving themselves, they're going to treat others with kindness, because they can see, hey, you're just like me.
Right.
You know, we all struggle. We've all had our tough times in life.
Right.
And it's easy to not look at it, to say, this is how I'm going to act. Like the bully, like I'm going to put people down, and it's easy to not look at ourselves and say, you're the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem. But hey, I have all these problems in my life. Maybe it's me. But it's hard to take that look. But once we do, we start realizing our own faults. And like, that's the first thing. I think they say it in AA. It's like, acceptance is the first step. Once you accept that maybe it is you, you could start seeing where your problems lie. And then you could start working on them to become more peaceful. Bring that anchor down, you know, throw that anchor off the boat in Lake George, you know, get down, and then start living. Because it is very easy to get caught in the greed, like the 7 deadly sins. People, like the Bible literally wrote out for us, like, these are the 7 things that will probably make you not happy.
Yeah.
Like greed, sloth, gluttony, the other 4. But anger, like, it's all there. Like, they tell us, and we see it, like, we see it all over the world. But I think if people start looking in, start becoming with peace with themselves, it allows you to be calmer in situations and more present with another person and have a true conversation instead of...
Well, that's what, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Thank you, Grandma. I think about it a lot.
Beautifully said.
But I don't know. I think that would be nice if we could all love each other. It sounds
Wouldn't that be
crazy.
nice?
Yeah. That's why I love that the John Legend song, Imagine. Like,
Oh, can you imagine life?
could we imagine?
Right.
And it seemed crazy back then, but now I think we're actually going down a path that's leading that way.
John Denver.
My mom was talking about the other day. He is something else. He is a musician, and he did what he was passionate about. Did he played the guitar, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I know his what was it called? Heading back to Georgia. What was that song called? But one of his songs, he talks about, he went to a forum that my Nana and Papa went to, and that my dad went to, and my aunt went to, and then I went to, and my brother went to, and my mom went to. And pretty much the forum, it started as people looked at it from the outside as a cult. because they thought people coming together, like talking, it was a different time. They thought it was like really terrible stuff, like because it's foreign to talk about your feelings, like back because people were just surviving. Like we didn't have technology and the luxuries we do now, like refrigerators and ovens and microwaves and phones and TVs. People were just trying to get by. But now we're at a time in life and history where we could take a step back and talk with each other and not have to worry about surviving, but like being one and helping the people that are surviving. Like, because there are people in Africa and India and all over the world where they're still trying to survive. Like that song that they did, "This is it's Christmas time at all." With all the singers, like it was the relief fund for Africa. And it's like, do they even know it's Christmas when it's December 25th? Probably not. They don't really care about that. They're just trying to live. And once we figure our stuff out, I think we could start to help figuring other people's stuff out. That's the same thing with like finding peace in ourselves. Then we could help other people find peace also. You see someone like a drowning person is not going to help another drowning person. You're both just going to drown. You need someone who's got a boat anchored down so they could grab your hand and help you pull up.
Right.
And
That's beautifully put.
Thank you. I mean, this was always my thing, Grandma. I'm not a great written student, like whatever, but talking is just my piano. It's just what God gifted me with, I guess, and I'm gonna use it.
Well, you're making it well worth it.
Yeah, we gotta use our gifts.
Right.
Gotta use our gifts. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I want to hear like your perspective. Like, what do you think about? Like, do you think we could ever find world peace? Like, it sounds crazy. Like, could you imagine that?
I think we will.
Yeah? We gotta hope.
I don't think today.
No.
I don't even think tomorrow. But there will be peace. Peace on earth.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all we could do. Just keep hoping.
Yeah.
Keep on going. But it's difficult sometimes. And I know you've had struggles in your life that were very hard, and you did the best you could, like you gave it your all to get through it, and you did. And look at us here. Like, it would have been very easy just to give up and say that was that, but you didn't, and you kept going. And I know that's a very sensitive subject for you, but I think it's what you did and what you did for your family was amazing.
Well, there was a time in my life where I don't want to carry on with it, but there was a time in my life when I could have closed the door. But the night that I closed the door, I realized in that time that I had a job.
Mm-hmm.
And either you do the job or you don't.
Yeah.
So I made a plan, and it was a beautiful plan. And I carried through with it. And I raised 5 children.
Yeah.
All college graduates. One is a doctor. One is a lawyer. They all did something.
Mm-hmm.
And I pushed them to do this.
Yeah.
And I think it worked out.
Yeah, they're still here. They have families of their own now. I mean, raising 5 kids by yourself is a task
It is.
not many people could take on. And it's sad that it had to happen like that and the way it did. But like we were talking about earlier, you had a struggle and you didn't let it take you down though. You kept working through it, and I could imagine it wasn't easy to do at all, but you really did. And I was reading, my mom gave me the speech that the priest gave that day, and it was honestly the most moving thing I've read in a really long time, because I didn't know this man, but it felt like I did when I read that. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but I'm glad you're still here and I know you and you could tell stories like that, and I could feel like, I don't know, that's how we pass on our history, is just through speech, I guess. But yeah, I thought that was really, really amazing what you did to get here. So thank you for being,
Well,
you.
to raise your family
Mm-hmm.
and to be proud of them like I am with you right now.
Mm-hmm.
God bless you.
Thank you. He's always with us.
God bless you, really.
Thank you.
You did an excellent job.
I'm still going. I hope I still got some time. I got a lot in my head that I want to get out. So
Good,
it's just starting the train. But
good.
yeah, I mean, it's just, I know we got the 30 how many grandkids? 32? 30 something?
How many grandchildren
Yeah.
do I have?
Yeah. There's a bunch of us though.
So, 13. Let me see. Help me.
I don't know. We said it earlier, but there's so many of us.
There are 10 boys
10 boys.
and 3 girls.
Oh, those poor girls. Only 3 of them. Too many guys. But it's just, we have Christmas every year.
Yeah.
Easter. We come here, have our big table, the little kids table. We're not really little anymore. Just the 6 of us guys, men. Ugh, that's a weird thing to think. I turned 21 in July, Grandma.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't.
21.
I don't feel 21. Not at all. I feel like a child inside. But I feel like my dad was saying that same thing. He's like, yeah, I'm 50, 53. We have the same birthday, July 5th. Fireworks are for us. But he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I don't feel 53. He's like, I feel 18 still. He's still a kid. Do you still feel like what age would you give that you feel without your body, without anything, like your mind? Like, how do you feel like you're younger than you are, or wiser, or just
45.
45? I like that age. That's a good one.
45.
45. Yeah, but these bodies, they're doing some crazy stuff with technology, Grandma. I'm seeing this stuff. They are replicating brain cells of rats, and they're creating them pretty much perfectly. And what that means for technology is that they're going to be able to make a brain or make a consciousness, like bring that rat's brain into something else. Like eventually they'd use our brain cells and pretty much be able to put us into a computer. And like, I feel like that's not living. Like, I feel like you need the body part, like the human aspects of us. Because I don't know, what do you think? Like, do you think it's a person if it's just their mind in a computer? Like, they're still able to talk. Like, how crazy does that sound?
See, I can't. That's science.
Yeah, that's
That's science.
It's crazy. Technology is skyrocketed, and it's just going up even faster than it was before.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because what you were telling you got your news from, you had to go to a movie theater, and the radio, like that was your news source. Now we have everything at the touch of our fingertips.
Right.
all the information of the world right here.
Right.
And it seems to be getting crazier.
Yeah.
I know we were talking the other day about how Elon Musk is putting that chip in people's heads so it could like cure blindness or Alzheimer's or whatever they have, like that the brain, the nervous system problems like that. But that also opens up a new field of stuff like, okay, well, if it can do that, great, but you just open Pandora's box. What else are you going to do with that? Are you going to start making robot humans? Like, I kind of like being human. I feel like it's nice. You know, we're mortal. That's the point. Like, we have a limited time,
Right.
and we have to make the most of it. I don't like the direction we're going in with that kind of stuff. That I like to eat my food. I like to taste my food. I like to smell it.
Right.
When I had the COVID, the China virus. When I had COVID, like we couldn't taste or smell, and it really made me appreciate it when I got it back.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to lose this again.
Right. Right.
The things like,
You take for granted.
yeah, we take stuff for granted.
Yeah.
And this quarantine and this COVID really showed me what I do take for granted every day. Like my dog Lucy, I know she's a little too big for you, but I love that dog so much. Maggie's okay too. I like her. I love her. But there's just so much in our life, like getting up in the morning, being alive, you know, like
Right.
even accepting like death is a part of life,
Right.
you know? And I was struggling with this recently. I have so much like I want to do, and I'm scared to die. I am personally scared to die because I want to do so much and I don't want to be cut off from that. But the same priest, Father Andrew, absolute legend. I met him yesterday in the church pew when it was supposed to be closed. But he was telling me, I said that to him and he was like, he told me life doesn't, I'm like, I said the same thing that I just said to you. Like I was scared. Like I have so much to give. I don't want to die. He's like, well, after you die, who says that's it? You know, your impact is still intact. Like people will remember. They will still like that love. There's this thing on Netflix. It's called The Midnight Gospel by Duncan Trussell. It's a podcast where they animate over it. And it's probably my favorite show ever. It is fantastic. I recommend anyone who hasn't watched it to watch it. And what they talk about is, in the last episode, this guy is talking to his mom who has cancer. And she didn't have much more to go. And she was talking about dying. Saying like because how it's scary, like it's something that people fear a lot, and I fear myself, like how I can't just accept this thing and be taken from this life. But when the whole point he was saying is like, how am I supposed to be okay when you go? And the mom said, it's okay. Like that shows that there's true love there. You know, like if you really care that much and you're that hurt by something, it means that the root of that is love. You know, like we love so much that when someone is no longer with us, that we feel pained by it. But the root of that pain and hurt, and no one likes to get hurt like that. No one likes our heart to be torn apart, you know? But at the root of it is just, you know, true love. It really is. And I think that was really beautiful that he said it like that. Because he's right. It's at the root of hurt and at the root of pain. We usually are hurt because there's love there. You know, if we didn't care about the person,
Right.
it'd be like, all right, whatever. Like we see a dead deer on the road,
Right.
whatever. But when it's someone we know, grew up with, spent time with, talk with, when they pass, it is really sad. But it's because we love them so much, you know?
Right.
And that doesn't mean just because, like, the mom was gone, that he's going to forget about her. Like, he's always going to love her and have her in his head. And that love would transcend time and anything, and it will always be there. And the memories will always be there and won't be forgotten, you know? But
We travel on.
we travel on, you know?
We travel on.
We travel on. We keep our past, our memories. Yeah,
Right. They're with you forever.
they are.
Right. We take them with us.
Hmm.
Right.
We travel because it is love.
Right.
And we need it because those memories, like, I remember, there's just like, we have to appreciate the past, you know? Like, I went to high school and I loved my high school so much. I think you knew that. I loved it so much. And it was really hard for me to go to college because I was so happy there. But my dad said to me, he was like, why wouldn't I have the same experience I did in high school at college? If I get involved, do the same stuff, like, I'm going to have a great time. And I am having the time of my life, Grandma. I'm loving college. It's a lot of fun. But that doesn't lessen that high school was fun. Like, I still love the memories I made with my friends. I loved everything I did, the teachers I had, the classes I took, the experiences I went on. And it was just really nice. And I remember, like, just so much of that. And I remember one of the best memories I've had, like, you've lived here my entire life that I remember. Mm. And I remember we used to play checkers. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like, all the time. That was so much fun. I was just a little kid, but it was always fun coming to Grandma's house playing some checkers, you know? And, oh my gosh, just so many good times. But I don't know. We just keep going. But we always keep that, like, it's always a part of us, you know, our memories. Like, I feel like that's what makes us who we are.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you think, like, for you, you have probably so many memories. Like, you lived a life, 92 years.
Right.
It's a lot of time.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. So do you have any, like, favorite memories or, like, best times in your life that just made you happy? Like, I bet, like, seeing your kids get married or seeing babies be born.
Yes.
Yeah, but
those were all very important days.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you got your college bears all lined up.
Right.
From all the grandkids.
Right.
Oh my gosh. We have fun. We have a lot of fun.
Well, this has been an experience.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed this.
I've also enjoyed this, Grandma. And I'm glad we talked and I got to hear a little snippet of your life. And I hope you enjoyed it too.
When I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming on.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was going to be like this.
No, it's okay. Just going with it, but I'll stop the recording here. I want to say thank you, and we'll keep going. So, do you want to say anything before I shut everything off?
I want to thank you. Thank you for thinking about this and putting it to pass.
Yeah.
That you're doing it.
Yeah. Because Grandma, everyone I know loves Grandma Glow. Like, the barber, you know, your hair salonist. When I went there, everyone who knows Grandma, she's like, "You're Gloria's grandson." I'm like, I love Gloria. Tell him I say hi.
Where was this?
This was do you remember when I had alopecia and I had the bald spot on my head?
Yeah.
I went to the salonist down the street, and I went to him, and he said that. But anyone I meet, like from Country Mile, or when I sell trees there, everyone loves Grandma Glow, and I think it just is a reflection of your person, of who you are. But it's true, like you are an amazing, the most generous lady I've ever met in my entire life. I'm serious. I'm really serious.
Thank you, thank you.
And I feel blessed to be your grandson and to know you and to have you in my life.
God bless you, honey.
Oh, God bless you.
I know. I love too.
Yeah.
I love you too.
Thank you. Well, we love each other.
Bottom of my heart.
Yeah, and I bet you love your entire family and all the rest of it and all the people you run into, because that's just the type of person you are. So,
Thank you.
thank you for coming on. See.
Well, do you want me to do anything else?